Thank you very much. And welcome again to everybody. And it seems today's topic is choosing love over fear. I was looking at the Facebook, and there was a rabbi talking about love. And he said, you have to understand love and the difference between love and fish love. You know what fish love is? He was saying that if you ask somebody, do you love fish? He would say, yes, I love fish, because it tastes very good. And then you catch the fish, kill it, fry it, and eat it. And he says, some of the love is like that. That it is, it's not really wishing well, or you're not, it's not about really loving and having a kind of, what can you say, benevolent and loving heart to that person, but it is just, something that you want to take from that person, or something that you want to use that person, and then you say you love. And he was saying that lots of love, what we call, can be like that, fish love. So that kind of fish love, he said, is not what we are talking about when we're talking about love here. When we are talking about love here, is if I call compassion, maybe that's also not very, very good. Because when you say compassion, again there is sometimes the English word, maybe you can say compassion, it seems to mean suffering together. That you see somebody in a difficult situation, painful situation, and then you feel that you have to feel the same pain or same kind of feeling. So you need to feel very painful, and uh, experience that suffering. Also, there is another kind of widespread misconception that if you have compassion, then you need to do whatever that person asks for or is needed, and there is no choice for you but to become totally like a, slave to the desires and needs of the people. So therefore you have no chance to actually, look after your own welfare, and you can't, even when you feel that I have to do something for myself, for the good of myself, you have to feel guilty about that. I think that also is a wrong conception. Compassion, I think, does not need to be like that. But it seems there are some feeling of that kind with many people, because sometimes people say, oh, it's very difficult, it's so heavy to be compassionate. If I feel compassionate, I feel as if I have to be the doormat where everybody kind of cleans their shoes on. I think that's a very wrong idea. Therefore, sometimes the word compassion, sometimes it's not very appealing, I think, to lots of people. When we talk about compassion, love, actually it's not this kind of things. It's just a very clear understanding, a very common understanding, very natural understanding, natural one, kind of, what can you say, a natural feeling, you can say. It has to start with this understanding that if you look maybe to your heart and say, what is it that I want? What is it that's important? What is it that is that what I really wish? Maybe we don't express it, we don't articulate it like this. But, because we are not trained in this way, we are not taught to think from this point of view. We are only taught to think from, what should I become? When I was very young, small child, I was in that school for some years, school for young Tulkus. Tulku is like a Tibetan reincarnated lamas. And we had lots of visitors. And we also visited many dignitaries, like when we were in Delhi, visited the presidents and prime ministers and vice presidents and vice prime ministers of India, and many ambassadors, and all kind of ministers and all kind of people. And I was almost the youngest. So when these people came to visit us, we met them. They always asked this question. And this I found is the same question people ask, in other schools and things like that when I was teaching and training teachers. The first and kind of most common question they ask is, what do you want to become? Then the little children, what do I want to become? And then just say something. I want to become a doctor, I want to become an engineer, I want to become a lawyer, I want to become, leader, journalist, whatever, And I heard that later some of the Indian children even were saying that I want to become Gabbar Singh. Maybe you don't know Gabbar Singh. It's an Indian Bollywood film. There was a very, very popular Bollywood film. And in this Bollywood film, there was a character, a villain, bad character. And he was one of the most impressive villain character in India. He was very a little bit chubby, very powerful, and he had a dialogue which everybody knew by heart. He used to say that, there were 3 people that he sent to fight, and they got defeated by those. So he was telling them, in 500 kilometers from each direction from here, in the middle of night, if a child cries, the parents say, don't cry, otherwise Gabbar Singh will come. Now you have spoilt my name. Then he would shoot them. Tung, tung, tung. So people were like, So some children were saying, I want to become Gabbar Singh because it was so powerful and he looked so. Anyway, that's not the question. The question is, why do people say, I want to become this, I want to become that? I think why they say that I want to become this and become that is because they have a feeling that if I become what they want to become, that will be very good for me. That will solve most of my problems. That's why I want to become that. So what I really want to say is this, that everybody, wishes to, to solve their problems and, wishes to have a life that is really, really great. What they call great, what they call, very kind of the best, may depend from each person. But what I want is, I want something that's really, really good for me. That will make me very happy, very, free from any problems and troubles and, difficulties. That's what I want. So this is, if you look a little bit deeply, that's what we want. Each of us, everybody. I want to be free from problems, pain, suffering, difficulties, the causes of problems and pain and difficulties. And I want to be well and happy and the best that possibly could. That's what I want. And if you look a little bit clearly, everything that we do is towards that. If I'm doing something, trying anything, if we are trying to, if we are trying to get rid of something also, that's for that. If we're trying to get something also, that's for that. If we're doing something really good and positive also, that's for that. And if we are doing something wrong, something bad, something harmful to other people also, the motivation is that I'm trying to get rid of some causes of my problems, and I want to do something that will bring something good for me or my people. I was even thinking about people who commit suicide. Why people commit suicide? I think it's not so difficult to find. They are in such a difficult situation, painful situation, and they want to end that. And sometimes they feel that if they die, then that's the end of it. So when you commit suicide, it's not because they want bad things. They want something good. They want to end the suffering or something of this kind. So all of us, that is our main motivation behind that. I want to, be free from suffering and causes of sufferings. And I want to have the best well-being, happiness, joy, whatever you call it, and its causes. And that's why, for me and my loved ones, and that's why we are so busy. Why are we so busy? Try to get there. Even when we have fear, it's also because of that. We are afraid that we will not be able to overcome this. We will not be able to get rid of the problems and sufferings and pain for us and our loved ones. If you have anxiety also, if you have worry also, why? Just because of that. I worry that something negative, something painful, something difficult would come to me and my loved ones. And that's why I'm worried. That's why I'm anxious. So all our things, our emotions, our stress, our positive, negative, everything is based on this motivation, and that's a very common and very, all-pervading motivation. We want to be free from suffering, pain, problems, and we want to be happy, joyful, and all the positive things. That's like that. Sometimes people say that I don't love myself. It's not really you don't love yourself, I think. If you didn't love yourself, then whatever problem came, you would have no problem. Then you would enjoy problems and pain because you didn't love you. But you don't. Yeah? You are afraid of those. So it's not really I don't love myself. And maybe I'm a little bit upset with myself. Sometimes you could be upset with yourself. You could be, you want so much good for yourself, so much success and so much nice that you feel that you are not that good. So you are a little bit, I should be better than this. I don't want to talk to you. It's a little bit like, a child kind of wants an ice cream from his mother, and then mother says, no, you shouldn't eat ice cream, and then he's very upset. And then mother gives ice cream. He doesn't want to take it. No, I don't want it now. What do you call that? It's not that he doesn't want ice cream, but he's a little bit, I think sometimes we are like that with ourselves. And we think that we don't love ourselves. It's not that we don't love ourselves. So therefore, we all wish the best for ourselves and do not wish pain, problems, suffering, difficulties, anything like that. And all our actions are trying to do that, trying to work on that. Whether we succeed or not depends on how wise we are and whether we are actually working on the right causes and conditions or not. But that is what our real motivation, and I think we need to reflect on it and see that whether it's like that or not. And I think it's very important to understand, and that's how we are and what is our real motivation. What is the motivation of everybody? But then, as I said, I don't want pain and problem and difficulties. I want something really good, happy, joyful, whatever the positive things. But if you say, if I just have that, myself alone, is that enough for me? If I'm the only one who is okay, and everybody else, including my most loved people, are not okay and have problems and sufferings and lots of pain, then is it okay? I think for most people, maybe for everybody, it's not okay. Because somebody who's really, really very loved by myself, who is very close to my heart, if that person is suffering and have lots of problems, it's same as I am suffering. And many people would rather kind of have that pain or suffering on myself than on that loved one, like your child or something like that. So therefore, we all have that love. people have love in their heart. It's a natural thing. It's something that is there in everybody's heart. You really wish so good, so much well to these people. You really wish that they are really free from suffering and pain and problem. That's compassion, that's love. Compassion is not suffering together. Compassion is deep wish that all, whoever you are compassionate to, you wish them to be really free from problem and suffering. There's a difference. Feeling the suffering of people and wishing that these people be free from suffering are two different things. And compassion is that. Love is also like that. I wish them free from suffering. I wish them have all the positive things, good things, happiness, joy, all the, well-being. So therefore, we have that feeling, but we have that feeling of love very restricted. I, and then few people that I love. I wish these people all the best, but then not outside that kind of my own border, that I create with my own mind. These people are included in that, and then the rest of the people is outside that. So therefore we have a very strong, sense of difference, inequality, that my loved ones, yes, but outside that, no, I don't care too much. But when I look, and then to them, I can almost do anything, I can harm them, I can wish them bad, and I can be upset and angry, and really. But when you look a little bit more clearly and more deeply, actually that fence or border that I create is a very kind of very flimsy border, very that difference is just very haphazardly made, because any time somebody who I see outside of that border can come in. That somebody I don't love, I don't have compassion, I have no feeling, can become my loved one. Because actually those people who are in my kind of my circle of loved ones, and those who are not, are actually same. And as I have my loved ones, everybody has their loved ones. And some of the people who are under my kind of circle of love have their circle of love, which might include lots of people outside that. And actually everybody is like that, you know. I and my loved ones, I and my loved ones. So therefore, you know, if we look a little bit deeply, you know, everybody is worthy of that love. Because everybody is like me, who wants to be free from suffering, who wants to have all the best for myself and my loved ones. And when we feel that kind of love, and also I like the word kindness, because when you feel kind, it doesn't have that kind of heaviness of the compassion, and it also doesn't have kind of too much romantic feeling of the love. It's a kind of feeling of just genuinely benevolent. You know? I want just I wish well. I just wish well. There's no expectation. And this is something I think extremely wonderful and good, because you know, when I feel kind, that means I do something, and you know, my emotions, my reactions, my actions do express something that is of genuine kind of benevolent and help, that I wish I do something that's nice and good for those people. I care for that. But there's no real any kind of sense of expectation from them. You know, it's not. I can be totally kind without, you know, expecting the kindness on, you know. Love is not always like that. We always, when we love somebody, we expect that this other person also loves us. You know? And if this other person doesn't love us or love less, we feel very upset and annoyed. So therefore, you know, the idea is that when we feel kindness, and we live with kindness in our heart, and we act with kindness, and we live our life, and we kind of we use the kindness in our daily activity. What happens is that I radiate a sense of wishing and willing to, whether I can actually practically do something or not. I radiate this kind of good heart, sometimes people call it good heart. I radiate benevolent feeling towards everybody. I radiate with benevolent action and benevolent expression. Even if it's a nice word, even if it's a smile, even if it's a, the way to kind of look, a look of kindness, a smile of kindness, a word of kindness, And that is something that we need to, we need to really cultivate among ourselves. And, what can you say? Make it part of our life. I think it is very, very important to develop that kindness, because I think, I really feel that that is the genuine kindness is really the solution to most of the human problems. Because there's lots of conflict, there's lots of problems in the world, there's wars and conflicts and all kind of injustices and all kind of problems in the world. And almost all these problems are created by ourselves, human beings. And these are created mainly because of our own negative emotions. Hatred. Hatred is a very strong negative emotion, because when you have hate, you wish bad to that person. You wish the worst to those people whom you hate. You want to vanquish them. You want to eliminate them. You want to kill them. You want to make them suffer. And of course, if you try to do that or wish that, then they will also do the same to you, and that's how all these conflicts come from. Anger is very much related and almost similar to hatred. Anger becomes hatred. Anger, when it is matured and held deeply in our heart, that becomes hatred. Most of the wars fought in this world are because of hatred. But then some are because of greed, that I want to take something from somebody. And that is also because I want something and I think I can take it from them, and because there is no kindness, there is no understanding, there is I don't care that if I take something that other people have, and I grab that, and they, if they don't have that, I don't mind that if they go to hell, I just take it. So this also is because that we don't have kindness, we don't have love, we don't have compassion. Because of that, we have greed, we have jealousy, we have all kind of negative emotions, and all the conflicts and problems and wars in the world are caused by this. And why we have anger and hatred and greed and jealousy and things like that? Why we have that? Why we have these emotions? And what makes these emotions? I think at the root of all these emotions is fear. Because why do I get angry? Because I fear that somebody is maybe harming me or doing something that is not good for me. That is, if somebody says something or does something, I feel, oh, this is kind of not good for me. It's either bringing some problem or pain or difficulty to me or my people, or obstructing me or my people to get something that we want. So therefore we fear that something bad would happen. And that's why I get angry. You know? So if you look deeply, at the bottom of all these negative emotions, is the fear. Like why we have greedy, why we have greed. Greed and clinging and all this is coming from fear, that if I don't have, if I don't get and all these things, I might not have enough. I might not have enough for me and enough for the next, when I get older, or enough for my children, or enough, so I have to, That's why, you say that. Gandhiji used to say, Mahatma Gandhi, he used to say that this world has enough resources to fulfill the need of everybody on this earth. But it doesn't have the resources to fulfill the greed of even one person. Greed has no limit because, I don't know how much I need. I mean, if I don't have, house full of gold, I might not be enough, something like that. That's fear, no? So, everything, greed, attachment, clinging, jealousy, envy, all these emotions which actually creates anger, creates hatred, creates injustice, creates conflict, creates, disharmony. At the bottom is the fear. I think it's very important to understand this. And most of the suffering also comes from fear. Sometimes, of course, like physical pain. We say physical pain is a physical pain. It has nothing to do with emotions. It has nothing to do with fear. We think like that. I think it's not like that. I've been to the dentist. I think all of you maybe have been to the dentist. And then when the dentist does something on your teeth, it's quite painful, no? Many times. And I've really understood this, I've really experienced this. How much pain you actually have depend very much on how much you are afraid and how much you are not afraid, or how much you can relax. If I can just relax and, okay, little bit pain, but no problem, I have much less pain. And please, much more pain, So even the physical pain, the more fear you have, the more painful it is. And then less fear you have, the less pain it is. Because half of or most of the pain is like, you kind of visualize or imagine how bad it will be, how negative, how strong, the fear is so painful. Actually, some people said that you can die of fear. I was told by somebody that they were flying. They went to somewhere in Africa by flying, and there was one person who was very afraid of flying. And this person was really, perspiring and, sweating and things like that. And the person then, he kind of was holding hand and was talking and things like that. So they could go okay. And on the way back, they were sitting in a different, and there was an announcement that if there is a doctor because somebody is not well and things like that. And that was that person. And they said they had to, the plane had to land, emergency landing in another place. He was because he was so afraid that the blood pressure went so low, he nearly died. And that's that's fear. So therefore, the fear, and also, most of our, other than the physical pain, we have so much problems, mental problems, or like, worries, anxieties. All this is actually coming from fear. Something might happen, something might go wrong, something. So therefore, this fear is something very basic and very strong source of all the difficulties, pain, and problems, in our life, in our emotions, in our mind. And all this fear, does it really help us? Does it help? Some people say, oh yes, it's very important, it's very urgent. Because if you don't have fear, you might not be able to cross a busy road without getting run over by the cars. Because of the fear, you can do that. I don't agree with that. I really don't agree with that. Because I know it's not the fear, but our wisdom that gives us, makes us cross the road without danger. If I fear and if I panic, I become like this chicken which is run over by the lorry. I know. When I was very small, we had to take lessons on how to cross the road. Because, in Tibet, there was no road like that, and there was no cars or anything like that. So we never knew how to cross a busy road. And in India, the busy roads were, not even like here. Busy roads, there is no red light, at least that time. Even if there are red lights, nobody cares for those red lights. Even now. Sometimes I'm going to the airport in Delhi, and the taxi goes through all the red lights, without stopping. If they don't see cars here and there, they just go. But that time, there's not even red light, not even zebra crossing. You just have to cross wherever you are. And then the lesson is not to be afraid, not to panic. You look up, you look down, then you slowly walk. You slowly walk without panicking, without fear. And if you see that lots of cars are coming from both sides, don't panic, just stand up in the middle of the road. So the cars will pass. Try to make yourself flat. As flat as possible, so that, because on this road there's cars, there's lorries, there's buses, there are, horse carts, there's buffaloes, there's, cows and monkeys, and, you never know what is there, dogs and elephants, sometimes, So you just have to be mindful, aware, and don't panic and don't afraid, just, slowly. That's how you. If you're afraid, finished. If you panic, you're gone. So therefore, fear is not really a thing that saves you. It's the wisdom. It's our intelligence which saves us. And therefore, the fear doesn't really help. We feel the fear, would help, but actually fear doesn't help anything. Fear only gives us trouble. We have to try it, because however we fear and however we worry, I don't think there is anybody who says that, this negative thing didn't happen because I worried enough. No. So therefore, I think we need to be clear, try our best, to see what would be the best way to solve this problem, or to, and then, we do our best. We do our best to make us secure and, as best as it's good for us and good for others and good for everybody. And then, if there is fear coming, if there is worry coming, if there is, anxiety coming, I say, this doesn't help. This doesn't help, so no use, no need. Because that only makes me anxious, makes me, worry, and it never exactly happens as I worry, because the worry creates all kind of images, and So therefore, what we try to, if we need, and this is what we want, we need to have our mind kind of a little bit, joyful, positive, kind, and the fear is the source of all these negative things. It doesn't mean that we have to be acting rashly and without thinking, without kind of, sometimes people do very what can you say, dangerous things and things like that. That's wrong. We don't have to put ourselves into danger unnecessarily, but sometimes this is also coming from certain kind of fear, that I have to show myself how brave I am, because I'm not really brave, so I have to show myself how brave I am. Most of the people who are fighting are a little bit like that. They have to show. I found this out because where I come from, the Tibetan, I come from Kham, one region of Tibet. There, they claim to be warriors, and the bravery is the most important quality. And if somebody is not brave, then he's nobody. So all the children, we will see how brave you are. So we try to be brave, and we fight a lot to show that how brave I am. Actually, not very brave. Those who have to fight a lot are not really brave. Those who are really brave doesn't have to show off too much. So therefore, not that kind of fearless, but really deeply, what we really wish is something that's good for me and good for everybody. So with that, that brings the kindness, that brings the compassion, that brings the courage. That what I try to do whatever that will bring the best possible help and good for me and others benefits. That will bring something good for me now and something good for the long run. And if I feel that I'm doing that, I'm working on that, I think it will be very nice for me. It will be like, sometimes this, I think we talked about this yesterday a little bit, but, how I feel, how to make myself love myself more. I think that's the only way that I feel that I am doing something that's useful, that's needful, that's good for everybody, that is, that's helpful. When I see that I'm doing that, I could be proud of myself. I should be appreciating myself. I would be, I would love myself. And when I'm like that, I could also start to do something good for others and good for myself. And if I feel that I'm living a life which is a little bit good for everybody and myself also, and at least nothing wrong with everybody, I feel I have lived a purposeful life. So I am happy. I have no regrets. I think we need to try to understand, and and when we do that, I think we will usually kind of try to see what are these emotions and kind of thoughts and states of mind which is kind of stopping or which is hindering to live that way of life. And if we can work on that a little bit and let them go, I think we can have more peaceful and joyful life. So this, I feel that if I can live with certain kindness in my heart, it's good for me. I think the best benefit is I myself. Because first, if I feel kindness and and love and compassion, my heart is in peace. My heart is good. There's no negative feeling against anybody. So therefore, when I'm feeling kind, I cannot lose sleep. I cannot say that. Nobody would say that. I felt so kind, I lost my sleep. No? I don't think so. People can lose their sleep because they have anger and hatred and all kind of other negative anxiety and all these things, but never kindness. So kindness brings peace in our heart. Kindness brings joy in our heart. So it's good And it's good feeling towards everybody when I feel kind. So, and if I feel kind, it's most likely that other people will also react with kindness. And even if they don't react with kindness, I can still feel kindness because I can understand that some people cannot feel like that. That's unfortunate for them. And so the more I am kind, if I am kind, I cannot cause disturbance. I cannot cause, problems and difficulties and, to other people because I'm being helpful. I have a good positive motivation towards them. So it's easier for anybody to be with somebody who is kind. So therefore it's good for me, it's good for others. It's good for, now, it's good for the long run. I don't think anybody would say that, oh, I regret because I was kind. I don't know if anybody would have regrets later on in their life because they were kind. So therefore, I think it's very important. And actually, in one way, this world has so much problems and difficulties that it seems like, it's almost impossible to solve. I heard that Stephen Hawking recently said that, in 100 years, this world will become a place impossible to live because of the violence of our people. So he said that, he should try to find another planet. It's that bad. But if we really want, I think we can reverse this. And to reverse this is actually, I think, theoretically not a very difficult thing. If everybody decided to be kind to each other from today, I think no problem from tomorrow. All wars will be ended, all injustice will be ended, all the, atrocities will be ended, and there is peace on earth. So it's that important, it's that strong, it's solution for all problems in the world. But it is not something that you can make a kind of order or law or, ordinance, issue an order that everybody should be kind. It has to be from each and every person. It has to come from within. That's the difficult part of it. That's why it is so important that each and every person really realizes how important it is. How important it is in my personal life, for myself, for others, for the whole world. And if I have to be, just happy and okay today, I have to be kind. And if I have to be nice and good with my family, you have to be kind. If I want something good for the whole world, I need to be kind. So we need to really understand this. And I think but this is something that we have to understand and really come from within from ourselves and exercise. It's a matter of doing, it's not a matter of, it's as a theory, it's something we have to use it in our life.